I can lick 30 tigers today. And other stories by Dr. Seuss. I can lick 30 tigers today. Well, maybe 29. You, down there with the curly hair, will you please step out of line? I can lick 29 tigers today. Well, that's sort of a mean thing to do. I'll cut down my list. First group is dismissed. I'll beat up the next 22. I can lick 22 tigers today. Well, maybe I'll lick 13. You, in the front row, you're excused. You may go. Your fingernails aren't very clean. I can lick 13 tigers today. Well, quite a few of you seem underweight. It's not fair, after all, to lick tigers so small. I think that I'll only lick 8. I can lick 8 big tigers today. Well, you sort of look sleepy to me. Some of you chaps should go home and take naps. I only intend to lick 3. I can lick 3 big tigers today. Well, it's frightfully hot in the sun. You too, I'm afraid, should go lie down in the shade. You're safe. I shall only lick 1. I can lick 1 mighty tiger today. But, you know, I have sort of a hunch that noontime is near. You just wait for me here, and I'll beat you up right after lunch. King Louis Cats. Way back in the olden golden days, in the year 139, a fancy cat named Louis was king of Katzenstein. King Louis was a proud cat, mighty proud of his royal tail. He had it washed every morning in a 10-gallon golden pail. My tail is such a lovely tail, King Louis used to brag. My tail must never touch the earth. My tail must never drag. So Louis cats made Phooey cats follow him around, and Phooey kept the kingly thing from dragging on the ground. Well, all was fine in Katzenstein. The king's tail wasn't dragging. But one day Phooey looked behind and saw that his was sagging. My lovely tail, he sighed with pride. Oh, that will never do. If Louis has his tail held up, I'm going to have mine too. So Phooey cats made Cooey cats follow him around, and Cooey cats kept Phooey's tail from dragging on the ground. Now all was fine in Katzenstein, till Cooey's pride was hurt when he discovered his fine tail was dragging in the dirt. So Cooey made a cat named Chewy follow him around, and Cooey cats kept Cooey's tail from dragging on the ground. And so it went in Katzenstein. Next Chewy cats got Hooey, and Hooey cats got Bluey cats, and Bluey cats got Brewy, till all the cats in Katzenstein were hiking round and round, all keeping one another's tail from dragging on the ground. All proud, except for one small cat. The last cat in the line. The last cat of all the cats that lived in Katzenstein, a most unhappy little cat named Zooey Katzenbein. His tail would never be held up, and poor old Zooey knew it, because holding up a cat's tail takes another cat to do it. Poor Zooey got so awfully mad, so mad that he could have spit, but he did a far, far braver thing. He simply yelled, I quit. I cannot, shall not, will not lug this stupid thing around. He slammed the tail of Pruey cats, he slammed it to the ground. Then Pruey cats slammed Bluey's tail, and Bluey cats slammed Hooey's, and Hooey cats slammed Chewy's tail, and Chewy's cats slammed Cooey's. All the tails in Katzenstein were slammed, including proud King Louis's. And since that day in Katzenstein, all the cats have been more grown up. They're all more democratic, because each cat holds up his own. The Glunk that got thunk. One thing my sister likes to do some evenings after supper is sit upstairs in her small room and use her thinker-upper. She turns her thinker-upper on. She lets it softly purr. It thinks up friendly little things with smiles and fuzzy fur. She sometimes does this by the hour. Then when she's tired of play, she turns on her unthinker and unthinks the things away. Well, one evening she was thinking up some fuzzy little stuff, and Sister sighed, "This stuff's all right, but it's not fun enough. I've got to think up bigger things. I bet I can, you know. I'll speed my thinker-upper up as fast as it will go." "Think, think," she cried. Her thinker-upper gave a snorty snore. It started thunk, thunk, thunking, as it never had before. With all her might, her eyes shut tight, she cried, "Thunk, thunk some more." Then blunk, her thinker-upper thunked. Her double clunker-clunk. My sister's eyes flew open, and she saw she'd thunked a glunk. He was greenish, not too cleanish, and he sort of had bad breath. "Good gracious," gasped my sister, "I have thunked up quite a muff." She turned on her unthinker and tried to think the glunk away, but she found her unthinker didn't seem to work that day. The glunk just smiled and said, "Dear child, you can't unthunk a glunk. Ask anyone, they'll tell you, a glunk can't be unthunk. I'm here to stay forever in your lovely, lovely home. And now, with your permission, dear, I'll use your telephone. I'll call my mother every night. It gives her such great joy. She lives 9,000 miles away, and I'm her only boy." "Long distance is expensive," Sister cried. "Get off that line." But the glunker dialed Texacuda Cunt 123409. "Hello, dear mother," yabbed the glunk. "I hope you're feeling fine, and don't worry about the phone bill. It's all paid by a friend of mine. I've just called you up to tell you how I love you, oh I do. And today I did some cooking, and I cooked up some glunker stew. Let me tell you how I did it. You may want to make some too. You take a cup of applesauce, you add a pinch of straw, you drop in 14 oysters, 7 cooked and 7 raw. You beat it to a frazzle with a special frazzle spade. Then you pour it in a rubber boot, half filled with lemonade. Then you toss it in the mixer where you smuggle it and spin it." "Stop," my sister yelled. "This costs $10 every minute." "Money? Pooh!" the glunker just laughed. "Don't think of things like that." Then he said, "Now, darling mother, let me see, where was I at? Oh, you take it off the mixer when the stew is nicely pink. Then you add a hunk of something, hunk of chunkalunk, I think. Then you chuck in chunks of chiclets. Then you plunk in 7 cherries. And then you plunk in, mother dear, 3 dozen kinds of berries. Now, mother mine, please do it right, those berries that you're plunking, unless you plunk them with great care, will keep the stew from glunking." "Stop, stop," my little sister screamed. "It's not a funny joke. My father can't afford this call. My father will go broke." "Now, now, you keep still," the glunk snapped back. He kicked her in the shin. "Don't you interrupt my mother when she's plunking berries in. Now, mother, plunk 1 berry, blue. Now plunk 1 berry, raz. What's that? You have no raspberries? Oh, everybody has. But if you have no berries, raz, a schnutzberry will do. You have schnutz, I know you have. Now plunk it in the stew." And he went on talking berries with his dear old darling mother. He jabbered and he blabbered 1 whole hour, and then another. He talked $300 worth. My sister shook with fright. This glunk might cost us millions. He might jabber on all night. My father will be ruined. We'll be penniless. We're sunk. Unless I can unthunk him. Oh, I must unthunk this glunk. And that is how I found them. She was standing there unthunking. The glunk was still talking glunker stew. That glunk was not unglunking. Could she unthunk the glunk alone? It's very doubtful whether. So I turned on my unthunker. We unthunked the glunk together. Then I gave her quite a talking to about her thinker-upper. Now she only thinks up fuzzy things in the evening after supper. The end.